Trying something new, exploring something new. I'm not afraid of starting over. Today is a new day, a new me is coming. You'll see, I see it, I believe it, gonna do it. You'll see. I gotta go, don't ask me why. I gotta go, I should've left a long time ago. I don't even know how I got here, but I gotta go. I want more than this, I want more than this. I deserve whatever I want, my heart's desire. I want more than this. What is this? This isn't it. What is this? This isn't how it's supposed to be. This isn't how my life's supposed to be. It's not how I imagined it would be. I gotta go, don't ask me why. I gotta go, I should've left a long time ago. I don't even know how I got here, but I gotta go. I gotta go, I gotta go. Oh, don't ask me why. I gotta go, I should've left a long time ago. I don't even know how I got here, but I gotta go. I want more than this. What is this? This isn't it. What is this? This isn't how it's supposed to be. This isn't how my life's supposed to be. It's not how I imagined it would be. I gotta go, don't ask me why. I gotta go, I should've left a long time ago. I don't even know how I got here, but I gotta go. I gotta go, I gotta go.
In the building, okay, to speak for himself. Now, this is in no way, shape, or form a bashing when it comes to Jaguar. We've been there, done that type of situation. It's just as of recently, Jaguar has been going often a lot, speaking on Sam Jr., saying things that he said and things that he may not have said. It's just a bunch of confusion. Jaguar also goes around, still to this day, stating that the conversations that I had with Sam that are on Coffee and are on YouTube as of now are AI, that it's not Sam, that it's a bunch of, recordings and stuff like that placed together. And, Sam would never speak like that. That's not who he is, And she said that Sam would pretty much have to go live, or say these things to her face.
Now we are here on this Friday. Hey y'all, I am back again. For those that are wondering, like, what you mean back? I was just on my backup channel. Now I'm on my main channel. Today we will be going over the Sam Jr. interview that Sean David Wade did about a week ago. I'm going to give my commentary on it. And when I say that Sam Jr. read his mother, I mean he read his mother. And ouch. This interview definitely got to her. She was definitely unhinged right after this interview. And she was still trying to say it was AI, artificial intelligence. And then sometimes she would say it is her son and that people are interfering. with the relationship between her and her son, and that Jag, you're the one that made your son into content. You're the one that constantly uses him for money and money grabs and your schemes. Okay, so you know he has a right at the age of 22 years old to finally decide to speak for himself. You have been speaking for him for a long time now. You have been making him content for a long time now. A lot of times, Jag has told us that her son does not have his own Cash App. So there's no way he can just, post his own Cash App. So she has to collect money for him and on his behalf. Well, as most of you know, I had OG Patrice on my panel about over a month ago, a little over a month ago, and she confirmed at that time that he, in fact, did have his own Cash App, Lord Swirl, and that she had paid him for artwork via that same Cash App. So since he has his own Cash App, there's no reason for why Jag was collecting money for him and on his behalf and having everyone send money to cruelty-free artistry instead of straight to Sam Jr., who's 22 and perfectly capable and able to get his own funding or Cash Apps or support. So that's one reason why it's a great thing for Sam Jr. to have his own voice and speak for himself. Because now with the OG Patrice interview and clarification through, text, and now through Sam Jr.'s own voice as well, again, because there was audio at that time too, and now there's audio again, and more clear audio with this Sean David Way interview, of Sam Jr. out of his own mouth stating that he has his own Cash App, that if people want to support him, they can send it directly to him, straight to him. No middleman, no middle stud, no middle person, aka Pissy Pussy Jag. And that's the point. That's the whole purpose of somebody having their own voice, because they can speak the truth and they can tell their own story, and they can also clear up lies that Jag is telling. So from now on, moving forward, his mother, the monster, cannot get online and say that she's going to collect money for Sam Jr. for money grabs and schemes and scams. Because we can say to her, no, Sam Jr. has his own coffee and Sam Jr. has his own Cash Apps. So we don't need to send you anything, Jag. We can send it straight to Sam Jr. So people were saying negative things about the interview, and I can only say positive things about the interview because it allowed Sam Jr. to regain his own life story and speak his truth and speak the truth, and also stop some of Jag's scams. So there's a lot of benefits to that whole interview. Now, the interview is about 3 hours long, so I doubt I will be able to do it all in one go. So I will break this up into parts. Okay, so I don't know how many parts yet, but today I definitely do, of course, part one, and then we will see how the day goes. Okay, because this will be my second live. Before I get started, let me go ahead and give a shout out real quick. Shout out to Debbie Jones. Thank you so much, Debbie, for the Cash App. She says, for keeping me entertained on Payday Friday with a single rose. Mwah. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Debbie. And everybody else, remember, support my channel for free just by what? Hitting that like button.
So we're going to give her just what she wants, because Sean David Way is going to be a lot of things. I hear I'm a monkey, I'm an agate, I'm a this, I'm a that, but I'm not a liar. Okay, I have nothing to lie about. For what? What do I get out of lying on Jaguar, right? I don't understand. What's the gain from that? Shout out to Dani Robertson. I do want you to know, Dani, that Sam watches your channel. He absolutely does. And he keeps up with a lot of the things that you say, Dani. So shout out to you, Dani Robertson, and all of your Avengers. We love you down. Sam is a fan. You know, Sam, he watches you. He definitely does. I forgot to say that in my coffee live because of all the other stuff that we talked about. But he has a fondness for you, Dani Robertson, just like me, girl.
Shout out to Sean David Way. Put some flames in the chat for Sean David Way. And also make sure that if you're not following his channel, make sure that you subscribe to his channel, okay? And then he did give me permission to give commentary on his video for those that are wondering. And like right after, but I'm just now getting around to doing it. So with that being said, make sure y'all subscribe.
Y'all get over there and subscribe to Dani Robertson. If you have not subscribed to her, I'm sure most of you already have. But for the ones that haven't and you want some, new flavor in your ear, please go over and check out Dani Robertson. Shout out to her and all of her Avengers. We love you all. So I did want to put that out there because Sam has spoke of you. Yeah, so shout out to Dani. Love her. Look at all these sources in the chat. I know that's right. Y'all better. So we bring.
And yes, I was over there at the very beginning. I had to leave towards the middle end. But yeah, y'all were showing up and showing out over there, showing a lot of love. It was like a flood of swords. Oh, y'all made me feel so special. Oh, y'all be gassing me up. I told y'all to be gassing me up now. But yeah, the Avengers were definitely present and very over their support as well. So yeah.
Sam here again to speak for himself. I didn't bring him here to attack Jaguar. In our conversations that we had that aren't AI, that are literally Sam, we've had certain discussions and none of them are fake. Sam.
Now, only a few people in the back. Shout out to the people in the back. Yoshi, Hips Don't Lie, Shakira. Yeah, shout out to y'all. Yeah, the people in the back. Yeah, those people right there. That they the only ones that believe the AI. Okay.
Cash App, which is Lord Sorrow, which I'm definitely going to be blessing today. I'm definitely going to be hitting up Sam's Cash App.
Oh, I forgot. Bridget. Lady Bridget. Now, I don't know who told you was a lady. Okay, but I'm gonna be nice right now. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, so Sean is giving Sam Jr.'s Cash App. So I am gonna post it for those that want to. Again, just like Sean said in his own live. For those that want to donate, I will post the Cash App. For those that don't want to, that's up to you. No one is forcing anybody to donate. Okay? But yes, he does have his own Cash App, so I will post it as well in my live. Okay?
It's his Cash App. It's not compromised or anything like that. Again, Sam is not requesting any money. He is not asking for any money. In the past, when I've done conversations with Sam, I put up, when I will put him up, a lot of people in the comments would ask, how can they help? Like, what's Sam's Cash App? What's this? What is that? Before his Cash App was compromised. So we were waiting for him to get a new one and updated because his mother, among other things that was going on with Sam's Cash App, we just didn't want people sending anything to it because Sam wasn't comfortable at the time. But now he got it all fixed up and updated. So now for the people that have wanted to seek Sam out to buy paintings and just to send a little love his way and whatnot, that is what the Cash App is there for. Sam is not here requesting any funds. That is not why he's here at all. Sam has been doing a great job taking care of himself, and he's also have gotten the strength from people like you. You also inspired him to write this book that Sam is going to be doing in the future. So Sam's Cash App is pinned. It is Lord Sorrow, S-O-R-O. It is pinned in the chat. Also, his coffee. Shout out to Sam. Sam, let me pull this up. Sam is over on coffee, y'all. Oh my goodness. Oh my gosh, we love him.
And yes, Jag is trying to say that Sam doesn't have his own coffee. Yes, he does have his own coffee. And my mods will be sharing the link as well to Sam Jr.'s coffee for those that want to check it out. Okay.
So Sam's over on coffee, and I'm going to put that up on the screen so you guys know what coffee to go to. Let me pull that up. It's right here. put that up on the screen for you guys. Okay, just in case my sound goes out, because it kind of echoes when I move the screen. This is Sam's coffee, okay? Sorrow, Nexel, but you can find him under his coffee name under Smith Sorrow. So Smith Sorrow, okay? SMITHSORO, okay? Smith Sorrow is where you can find him. Sam is in the process because of the conversations that we dropped. He watched the premieres over here, and all of you guys' comments, ladies and gentlemen, y'all all inspired him to write. He saw a lot of people writing in the chat, is he a writer? He talks like a writer and whatnot, and he took heed to what you all were saying in the chat. So now Sam is going to go on his journey to write his own book in his own words to let you all know how he feels, okay? So I gave Sam the idea when we were talking that, hey, I know writing a book can be a lot. It can be a lot of pressure, writer's block, all type of other stuff, and the time to be able to do so, because Sam is in the process of working. Well, he's working already, and he's in the process of getting back into school. So
okay, so this is his Cash App right here. If you see this one, Samuel D. Oldham II, okay? It says $ Lord Sorrow. That's the one, that he uses, okay? And for this profile, you'll see the joint date of October 2020. Okay, that's his actual Cash App. Okay, so Jack, your son, that's 22 years old, as most Gen Z, to be honest, everybody these days, Gen Z, millennials, Gen X, and such, have Cash App, okay? With that being said, he has his own Cash App, so no collecting money on his behalf ever again, okay? He got it.
I don't want him to feel overwhelmed, because it can feel overwhelming. So why not take the people on a day-to-day, experience with you? Because on Coffee, you can write posts and all other type of stuff, upload videos and things in that nature. So why not take it a day at a time and, start your book, your intro and your first couple chapters, and just put it on Coffee, page by page and whatnot, and, express yourself and your own words that no one can say that someone else did for you. This is something that Sam can do in his own time. People are very interested in Sam's story. So what a great way for him to make not only a path for himself, but be compensated for it, because I feel that he deserves it. So Sam will be over on Coffee and writing entries. Is kind of like a life blog, if you will, and turning it and manifesting it into a book. So it's not strenuous on him. The people that want to hear Sam's story can get, pages day by day or week by week. Sam can drop, 10 pages or 20 pages, and whatnot. So he could actually take his time and do this, because he is so wise with his words. Like, he's wise beyond his years, and he definitely, him on paper, would be incredible. So I'm excited to read this myself and to hear what Sam's going to say, because it's not just about the stuff that's going on with his mother, it's also Sam's story. Okay, we've heard a lot about his story with his mother, but we haven't heard about Sam. Like, what have you experienced? What were you going through when all of this stuff was going on?
Yeah, so a lot of things that we know about Sam, or we've heard about Sam, should I say, has came from monster Jaguar Wright. He has not really had a voice of his own. And then on top of that, a lot of times Jag will call her son and she will record him and then put it online. The thing about it is Jag knows how to slice and dice and splice. So she will edit some of these phone calls for her own agenda and to spin it into her own narrative. Okay. And he actually will call it out. Her own son will actually call out that a lot of times she edits things and spin things. Okay. And he doesn't like that. That has led to him not really trusting her. And in fact, he says that he trusts Sean David Wade, interviews and recordings, should I say, more than his own mother's. So yeah, go on.
Let us hear about you. You know, it doesn't, you can incorporate whoever you want because it's your life story, but don't forget about you. You know, let the people into your world to figure out who Sam is. So I'm very, very, very excited for Sam. Again, this is his coffee. Make sure you guys get over there, get over there, get over there. It's already up and running. He has everything going already. We're in his art as well. He's going to be displaying art over there too and putting up posts of his art. So if people are interested in purchasing pieces of his art, that will be amazing as well. So we're definitely going to get the ball rolling with Sam and making him his own content creator in his own way. Instead of being out here in all of the mess and on YouTube and all that, like, no, that I don't feel like that's Sam's lane. I think that he's more so of an intricate person, an introvert. So yeah, I think this is much more his speed to be able to write down his feelings and express them. So yeah, so shout out to Sam. I'm super excited to have him here. So without any further ado, again, his Cash App is pinned in the chat. If you want to send him anything, it is not a demand. No one is asking for anything. It's just if you feel it on your heart and you want to send Sam a little gift, or you know, just tell him that you're proud of him, or that you're interested in helping him in some way, or just want to just say, hey, you know, just send a little dollar to be like, hey Sam, love you Sam. You know, glad you're doing well, Sam. That's great. But again, it's not a must. It's just if you want to, if you feel it on your heart. I am going to bring Sam Jr. up because why wouldn't I? Okay, this is all about Sam. Jaguar, I know you're here. Okay, you have been calling me all day, all morning. Okay, I'm gonna say this. I talked to Sam about you coming up. I do not want you on my platform. I do not. But I am not holding Sam away from you. Sam is an adult, 22 years old, and he thinks for himself. So if you would like to speak to your son, you absolutely can. Don't feel like you can't speak to him, because you can. While I'm talking to Sam, after I'm done talking to him, because this is about him, if you would like to come up and speak to your son, that's fine. As proof to you and the rest of YouTube sphere that I'm not keeping your son away from you. No, not at all. Okay? But if you disrespect Sam at all, if you swear at Sam.
Okay, so Jack has been spinning. I'm still waiting for somebody to send me the link to Sam Jr.'s call for you. Okay, so just bear with me. Okay, so Jack has been trying to spin a narrative that, you know, Sean is trying to keep her away from her son and not allowing her to speak. So Sean pretty much was saying, look, your son is going to be here on the panel, and I'm not going to stop you from coming up here and speaking as well. So you're free to come up, but be respectful. Be respectful when you come up here. So that was just a way to, as well, to say, don't use the excuse I didn't allow you to speak to your son. I'm giving you the opportunity to do so, but as long as you show respect, because you might get dropped if you know you don't.
At all. You're gone. Instantly. You will respect him, because this is my house. You want to talk to him like whatever, how you normally talk, take him to your crib. But in my house, you will respect him, because he's been doing nothing but respecting you. Okay? Sam hasn't disrespected you. He hasn't done any of those things. He's just told his experience. And since it's not similar to your lie, you want to make him a liar, and he is not. So again, after I talk to Sam, if you would like to speak to your son, why not? I don't mind that at all. I've never tried to rip Sam away from you. I've never tried to do that. Like, wow, gross. I have children. I would never want anyone to intervene. So it's the same thing with you. I'm not going to intervene. Intervene on what? No, this is Sam's feeling. Welcome, Sam the second, to the stage. Hello, Sam. How are you?
Hello. I'm doing nicely. It's glad to hear from you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for joining me, Sam.
Thank you very much. I'm glad to say hello to everyone else who's watching too.
Absolutely. So Sam has been wanting to talk to you guys. He's been wanting to say, go ahead, Sam. I know you've been wanting to say like thank you and hello, and you go right ahead.
Okay. There's a lot of things to say. I guess to keep it a buck, roughly half a year ago, there's something I said in regards to the matter that I've moved on with it. But if people are looking for any more stuff, maybe something to keep their eyes a bit straight, keep their eyes on the goal, I'm willing to help along. I'm keeping up on that. I have been keeping my eye and, according to my own online visage, eyes on the situation. And know that I deeply thank you all for the gratitude that you have shown. The humbleness and the kindred words that you sent expressed towards me. Glad that I'm finally doing well where I am now. I deeply and sincerely thank you all. You truly brought this young person, this young entity, strength and joy where he had not found any before. So, I've seen some of the messages. Some of you wondering if I was a writer and if I'm going to be writing anything. Just know, to those of you who have commented, and I have seen some of you, I do not remember the usernames, but just know that you have been seen. You are not the only ones. There have been several people in my life whom I know who said, upon hearing these, that I should perhaps write a book on this someday. And one of those people, interestingly enough, is our dearly departed saint, Grandma Frances.
Oh, Sam, don't.
So pay attention when he said right here, our dearly departed Grandma Frances. So right here, he's acknowledging, that his grandmother passed away, that he lost his grandmother. Okay. Now we have to remember that Jack has been gaslighting and playing games and saying that, Mama Frances is still alive, Grandma Frances is still alive, and saying that there was no funeral, or should I say homegoing service. It was all spoofed. It was AI. It was deep fake, deep six, and as you can see, Sam is saying, he's actually, saying, yeah, I did lose my grandmother. So he's living in reality that he did lose his grandmother. And don't forget that Sam Jr., Samuel II, Sam Jr., I will just say for now, okay? He actually spoke at the homegoing service. So he spoke at the homegoing service. So he was present. And yes, Jack does know that Mama Frances is no longer here. However, once she lies about something, she stands 10 toes down in her lie. So she will always keep saying that no matter what. Okay. And the moment she's proven and 100% and there's no way to deny it, that's when she'll ignore it and then deflect and act like nobody's talking about it anymore. She'll change the topic or, deflect. Yeah. But that shows right here differences between Sam and his mother. His mother is denying and lying about it, and not denial as in the stages of grief or mourning, but just outright lying because she knows the truth. Okay. And then her son is telling the truth about Mama Frances is no longer here.
Forgive me for jerking the tears on this.
No, you go right ahead. You go right ahead. This is just so sweet. Go ahead.
Now, upon the first release of my conversations with Sean here, I said that I would consider it. However, as it would be, I already had a blueprint of sorts that I had made, I would say, a year back, roughly, maybe even a little bit more, a year and a couple of months. I made a made a text document on my computer, documenting things that I'd sparsely recalled over the course of time. A sort of documentation and recollection of the history that I had been through and what I could feasibly remember, focusing on the lens of negativity, as was mostly provoked my gaze, my singular gaze, if you will. I never would have imagined that I could easily equate my own psyche and my own vision with my own persona, if you will, that of a cosmic blacksmith. What originally held one eye is synonymous with that of a great sight, but with only one, and thus is prone to tunnel vision. But in just the span of, I would say, 2 years, and to be more precise, roughly a year and a half, I've gained more. And with more eyes, I have more knowledge and more wisdom. I'm able to see much more than I had before, and perceive things that were done from an adult's perspective that I, as a young, singular-eyed cyclops of a kid, could not perceive or understand.
So you're saying that you, since time has passed, you looking on things with a different perspective than how you did when you were actually in it, like when you were going through it?
Yes. Henceforth, I've gone upon documenting and redocumenting this skeleton of a framework, this schematic, if you will, into what is right now a beta of a book line, an autobiography documenting my own personal stipulations, my own personal thoughts, feelings, emotions, choices. Pretty much a chronicling of my own journey. How I once considered myself a ghost amidst the space of the public conscious. How I felt I was no more than a tool. And what is once was a tool has now become, or should I say, returned into being its own being.
So around your mother, you didn't feel like you were human? You felt more of an object at the time than being just like her son?
Certainly. And it's not, and this wouldn't be the first time I admit it. Even back then, I profused my fears amidst other people that I felt that I was nothing more than a pawn in someone's game.
So one thing about narcissists is that they will use you. You're just an object. You're not really. They don't really see you as like an individual. You're just like an extension of them, like property. I hate to say it that way, but property, a tool or a pawn to be used in their game, or for a source of their narcissistic supply. Okay, so with that being said, he felt like he was just like a pawn or tool just being used for whatever purposes served his mother or whoever. Now he's becoming his own person and like his own identity and taking control of, his own life pretty much.
That I was nothing more than the key trump card to twist and force people to commit actions they wouldn't otherwise. In other words, I would be the affliction that they would introduce in an otherwise ironclad defense that would not be shaken, introducing a weakness in order to make a weak point, something one person can strike upon consecutively and take their foe down. In a spiritual sense, this is no different than that of the great adversary. And for those of you who are of the Christian faith, you know whom I speak of when I say the great adversary. Unfortunately,
for the people that don't know, who's the great adversary? For the ones that don't know,
from the great adversary, for those who are not of the faith or those who aren't of the know, will be that of the devil.
Okay, so I want to actually share this as well with you. Hold on one second. Bear with me. A lot of my mods are busy today, okay? Because I'm going live in the daytime. Okay. Hold on one second. So this is his actual. It's actually coffee.com, and it's actually Smith Sorrow, but it's best to just follow the links that I'm going to be posting in the chat. Okay, and again, he's going to be writing a book, and there are people that are already subscribed to his coffee, since it was actually shared by Sean Davieway. So it's like $3, so it's $3. Just like you could do it one time, or it could be put it on monthly for his coffee. Okay, and then again, there's also his Cash App for those that actually want to support him. He's actually planning on going back to college again, which is a great idea. And we're going to get into all of that. Okay. Yeah. Hold on. Let me post the link one more time to his coffee.
The precise identity of which throughout the religion is quite sparse. The most common, that being Satan, of course, being the one whom was at least more precisely recognized as being the one being sent, who was sent by God to judge Job in the book of Job in the Bible, testing a man of his faith by stripping him one after the other of all of his well-earned wealth and livelihood from his land to his family.
Are you comparing your mother to the devil?
I am not saying that she is the devil.
Mm-hmm.
What I am saying is that, at least for the longest time, it had seemed to me that someone had become infested, or at least contacted by him.
Mm-hmm.
And while I had never known who that was for the longest time, it became apparent in the recent years that perhaps my own mother was the one whom reached him.
Well, child, so I guess Sam is saying like she's like a vessel for the devil. A vehicle vessel for the devil. And that's like a crazy way. Jag, you have a lot of things you need to do to work on your relationship with your son. For him to actually say or state or believe that you're a vessel for the devil, and that the devil moves through you and uses you for wickedness and whatever purpose, that's not a good look at all. And that's not a good way for someone to describe you at all. Woo, child. To embrace this Jag is a devil servant. A lot of times she does act demonic and devilish and satanic and evil and wicked. And then the next day she'll pretend like she's a Christian. Now, I recall when I actually changed my voice, I was mimicking and imitating Jag. And there was another content creator who heard the voice and she was like, that sounds demonic. And it sounds like what came out of Dani. And then Jag was even like, what is that voice? I'm like, Jag, I'm actually imitating you. So if you think that voice sounds satanic or demonic, that's how you actually sound when you're trying to be menacing and things like that. Yeah. But anyway, shout out to, but that's how he's, so this is Sam describing his mother. Shout out to Almond. Thank you so much for the gifting memberships. And you are gifted a membership by Almond. Please say thank you for the gifted membership. Also, please put some hearts in the chat to show love to her for her generosity of gifting those memberships. Yes, and yes, and everybody else members support my channel for free just by what? Hitting that like button.
Reached within our family. The Wright'S and the Odoms are a Christian family. That much is for sure. And even though the religion differed between Seventh-day Adventists and Baptists, ultimately to me, at least in my eyes, the difference between Seventh-day Adventists and Baptists boil down to nothing more than which day we pray to the Lord and worship Him on the Sabbath, whether that be the Saturday or Sunday. Either way, the core idea is that we at least give one day to the Lord to rest, to worship Him. However, amongst all of us, nowadays it's become very evident of one whom has abandoned the Lord's teachings.
What child? So he's pretty much saying that his family mostly comes from a faith-based, like Christian background, serving the Lord. But it seems like somebody is not living according to those principles and what their family usually goes by of Christianity. They have stepped outside of that. Now, remember, Jess pretty much said that she probably was a vessel or vehicle for the devil. And now he's saying that, yes, he's pretty much adding on to it by saying he feels like she has stepped outside of that faith of Christianity, which most of the family, participates in or believes in, and is now, let's continue on.
And has done so for quite a while.
And do you feel that your mother has abandoned, because she is religious as well, do you feel that she's abandoned the faith?
At best, she has abandoned the true teachings of the Lord, and at worst, she's begun twisting them to her own benefit.
I felt that.
Allow me.
Oh, so he's pretty much saying, if she has not abandoned the faith, she's actually weaponizing the Bible for her own agenda, or weaponizing the religion for her own agenda, and spinning the words for her own purposes. Now, some people do that. They actually misinterpret the Bible for their own purposes. They only use the Bible as a weapon only, and not actually for faith, but actually just to use it against others, or for empathy, money grab, sympathy, the play on the hearts of people of faith. A lot of people do that. They are narcissists. They play on the hearts of Christians and Christianity by saying, "Oh, you should forgive me because of XYZ," or since you have a lot of something, you should share, or you should have compassion, or you should donate or give because or bless others. They play on that religion, but there's different things people do.
Let's stick a pin in that really quick, okay?
Okay.
This is getting really good. Wow, because that's powerful. That's powerful, and it connects to so many other things that I want to talk to you about. So we're definitely going to get further. I'm literally going to pick up right from there in just a second here. But I do want people to hear the good things that are going on in your life. So let's update them in how that's going. So you are currently working, correct?
Yes, I'm currently working. I've been in a job that I've actually enjoyed, and for the first time in quite a while, I've actually considered, and I've been in the process of re-enrolling back into a college and furthering my education.
Absolutely.
So he has a job. He's working. For people out there, you want to know an update on Sam Jr., he's working, and he's also considering going back to school, which is great. And you can tell by his vocabulary and things like that he's smart. So yeah.
And you plan on enrolling, you're trying to get in started by this fall, you were
Yes.
saying? Yeah. And working on top of that. I'm so proud of you. Like when you say these things, it makes me so happy, because I know these have been goals for you, but it's different when you take a goal and turn it into actuality. So you manifest the thing that you say, and you are definitely doing that. So I'm really proud of you. I know the last time you went to college years ago, you had issues with, like anxiety and other things going in. With this newfound confidence that you have, do you think it'll be a bit easier for you to attend school this time around?
To me, I believe it will be significantly easier than when I was merely a 20-year-old, with many stark and key differences between then and now that really identify and prove my strength.
Mhm.
First things first, I know that I have my own family with me. Back then, even though I had connections with my family and contacts every now and again with my friends, back then I never truly felt them or felt the presence of them.
Mhm.
And at times, it would get severe enough to the point where it felt like even my connection with the Lord was rather tenuous.
Yeah.
Time has only reforged that into something ever stronger, unbreakable even. If I ever feel down, I know that I always have them.
Mhm.
As long
And
as
us
I don't
too.
abandon them, they
You
won't
have
abandon
us
me.
too. We are so here for you. So
Yes.
here for you and your journey with school and just whatever. Like we are here. We're your biggest cheerleaders besides your family. We are here for you. And all we want to see you do is excel. That's all we want. We just want you to have a good life because you deserve it. A lot of people don't feel deserving of a good life. And I think that that's kind of how you felt when you felt invisible. You know, you didn't feel deserving of having things and having things be, instead of temporary, then be permanent, because you were kind of at the beck and call of your mom. You know, you were it was her plan, it was what she wanted to do. But now, being the driver of the car, no longer riding passenger, driving it on your own, it's a different lifestyle. And has your life with your family?
And another thing is, like, you know, at the time when he was going to school before, you know, it could have been a lot of stress, a lot of chaos. You know, he wasn't as confident. A lot of other issues were going on. So that, and also, and yeah, there's a lot of stuff that was going on at that time. Now, when things are more stable, there's more stability, it's less chaos, less stress. He has way more confidence. He can now focus on school, and school requires a lot of focus. You have to focus on what's happening. You have to be able to concentrate and not be so concerned about outside life, because that could become a distraction. And also he's more confident now in his abilities and capabilities, because he scored high on this one test that he was trying to get it in with the Army. And he just feels way more confident, and confidence can go a long way when you're actually trying to go to school, and you believe in yourself and that you're capable of accomplishing your goals. So with that being said, he has the right mindset now, to be successful in school. So yeah, I wish him the best of luck, and I'm sure he'll excel at whatever he decides to do at school, or what degree or what path he takes. Shout out to Chrissy T. Thank you so much for gifting memberships. Again, shout out to Chrissy T for gifting memberships. I appreciate the support. And if you were gifted a membership, please say thank you for the gifted memberships. And also, please put some hearts in the chat to show love to Chrissy for her generosity of gifting those memberships. And again, I did post for those that want to donate or send something to Sam Jr., that's his cash app is $ Lord Sorrow. Okay.
Became better after you kind of parted ways from your mom, or is it about the same?
It is most certainly become better. One thing to note is that even if the time becomes a bit more separate every now and then due to my still very youthful management of time every now and then, I still always make time to connect with them at least one day of the week. Whether my father, I'm always by him. But even with other members of my family, like my aunts, whether distant or near,
Mm-hmm.
my grandmother now,
Yeah.
I still connect with them, and I'm glad to call them.
Yeah.
I don't feel bad calling them, or feel like I'm doing this because I have to, that I'm forcing myself to call them. It feels natural.
Yeah. When you were around your mom, did you feel like you were betraying her by speaking to certain family members, like your Aunt Lachelle, whom, from what I gather, has been amazing in your time of need? Shout out to Lachelle. Every time I talk to you, say just the most wonderful things about Lachelle and how she's been there for you. So shout out to Lachelle. But yeah, did you feel like a traitor when you would talk to them prior?
I wouldn't say I felt like a traitor, but it felt like talking to them felt like it was more of an obligation than just a personal connection. Like, to describe more accurately, while it didn't feel like I was actively betraying anyone by just speaking to them, it wasn't that severe. But at the same time, it felt like speaking to them would always bear this feeling of tenseness that I might be asked on what exactly I spoke to them about, and perhaps I need to obfuscate some details in order to keep things simple.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Well, one thing I can say is that Jag does try to isolate people, though. Okay, she will try to isolate people. But he was pretty much saying he just want to try to keep things simple. Okay, shout out to Shonday Way in the chat says, hey Dani and Avengers, Sam left school the first time because Jag told him to instead of encouraging him. She told to give up and cause was a waste of time. So she told him to give up and cause was a waste of time. Not surprising because thanks for the update on that, or the info correction on that one. So with that being said, Jag also was trying to get him to quit his current job. When he told her that he had a new job, he was hoping that she would say congratulations and and celebrate, but instead she was acting disappointed and trying to get him to quit the job. So he didn't like that reaction, and that was stated in the other video. Okay, so yeah, Jag is the type of person that she wants her son to be a mooch and just live off of other people and not really get his own things and be independent. She wants him to be dependent on her and others and just living off of people or whatever. He wants to get his own things and be successful, go to school. He wanted to join I think the army or things like that. So with that being said, Jag, she's always going to do the opposite of what you would expect a parent to do.
So it was more so of you feeling uncomfortable, not like a sense of betrayal. You just didn't feel comfortable speaking. It felt like a chore, like a rehearsed type of conversation.
In the simplest form, yes. To say that it felt back then that calling other members of my family was a chore is the most accurate way to describe it in the simplest ways.
Yeah. Wow. Absolutely. So removing yourself and being on your own, now your relationships have grown with your family, and I'm very happy about that, because that's what we've always wanted. So Sam is doing good, guys. He's working. He's planning on getting into school again this fall. So shout out to Sam. We're so proud of you. Again, hats off to you for putting the work in. We are proud of you. What about your life when it comes to this book, besides the obvious things that we feel like you're going to talk about? When it comes to you as a person, what would you say you're going to open people up to about you that they didn't know?
To me, I feel like I will open to people how very intricate and how in-depth my thoughts can go to at times. My imagination is one that is very unnatural compared to others. I know my intelligence and my way of speaking may profuse some of that, but how I consider things is very in-depth and very elaborate. And in my writing, I believe people will find that some of the things that they see within it, my own words in written form, will be one of what would seem to be an elaborate structure on the surface, broken down into ways that people can understand, seeing things in a more fine-tuned and deeper level. This of course includes many aspects of times of to better describe times where you have the very simple terms of there are many kids out there who have divorced parents, especially nowadays, and life itself can feel very divided in between two aspects. However, but with me, I feel as if I have the state of mind to be able to articulate the very complex feelings as if they were a painting.
Yeah. So you're going to be really vivid in how you speak.
Certainly.
So again, he's going to write an autobiography. He's going to be very detailed, vivid, and very descriptive. Even when things are complex and maybe seem difficult to understand, he has the ability to break it down so people can understand what he's saying, even to the smallest detail, to be very elaborate and descriptive in his writing. Okay. So make sure y'all all, if you're interested in following Sam, make sure y'all do what? Subscribe to his coffee, okay? Hold on.
Oh, I'm excited. So I do have a question about this, and it's about the book.
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to talk about the viral eviction? I want you to take a second to think about the viral eviction. When you, God rest your grandmother's soul, and your mother were all outside and your mom was live, Jaguar Wright was live on YouTube for the whole world to see this going on. So I do want to know, are you going to talk about that? You can take a couple seconds. Are you going to talk about the viral eviction, and can you take us back to where you were mentally that day when all of that stuff was going on? I'm going to side note real quick and shout out to super stickers and stuff in the chat really quick while you think about that, Sam. Shout out to Tasha Sherry for the super sticker. Thank you so much, sweetheart. I really appreciate it. Mwah, thank you so much. Shout out to Bree for becoming a new member. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Shout out to Look at My Transcripts. Thank you for your continued support and being a member for 16 months. She said at Sean W. Show, at lunch, #teacher work day. Shout out to you. Thank you so much, sweetheart. Shout out to Indigo B. She says, great show, Sean. Thank you for all you do. Thank you for being a continuous supporter and also for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you so much, Indigo. Thank you. Shout out to my baby, Dani Robertson. Shout out to Dani for gifting 10 memberships. Oh my God, now I got to get over that. Dani, girl, now I got to come over there. Girl, I got to come over there and buy stuff, girl. Shout out to my baby, Dani Robertson. Shout out to you. Y'all get over there and subscribe to her. Shout out to Skilu for gifting 5 memberships as well. Thank y'all so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you, Black Sheep, for gifting 5 memberships. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And shout out to Chi-Town for the super sticker. Thank y'all so much. I would like to acknowledge them because I'll be feeling bad. I don't want y'all to think that I don't care. I do. I just be trying to keep the show going. So to segue back into that, Sam, again, will you be talking about the viral eviction in your book? And where was your mind that day?
Now, again, this was a great question because a lot of times we think about Sam Jr. because, you know, his momster, made him into content. A lot of times people do go back to that April 11th day of that eviction, and Sam Jr. and Mama Francis in the hot sun searching for her, you know, royal crown bag, her purse, you know, while she sat in the car going live. We're only worried about the content in live, and she should be out there looking for her own damn purse, okay? So he's gonna, you know, I guess ask if he's gonna be discussing that in the book as well. Shout out to OG 10 Baby. Thank you so much for the super sticker. Yes, again, shout out to OG 10 Baby for supporting the chance of fan funding. I appreciate the support. And everybody else, remember, support my channel for free just by what? Hitting that like button.
With my book, with my chronicle, that will be among one of the many things that will be covered within it. That eviction.
Okay.
It is a vivid memory, after all, one that everyone, not just I, have conscious headspace of. And I'll be able to go into detail with that, as well as in comparison to other previous evictions I had to suffer. But to go into more depth with that moment, my headspace at the time, I can trace it back onto that night before the eviction happened, when I saw the notice. As a matter of fact, I still remember when I took a picture of it and messaged my mother.
And that was the pink notice?
Yeah, pink. It was indeed the pink notice, the final notice, the move everything out.
Or else.
Or else. Yeah, or else everything.
So Sam Jr. definitely remembers that eviction, and he is actually probably the first one to see the eviction notice and to snap a picture of it and send it to Monster and let her know about the eviction. Now, let Jag tell it. She's saying that was all planned and it was everybody's idea to let the eviction, happen. Okay, Jag.
Thing is getting forced out.
Yeah.
Pink notice that was in yellow paper, no less.
Yeah.
Now, that was indeed a very stressing moment. I could still feel the distress of having seen that notice first time. It was very troubling. As if you could feel a red alert going on in the back of your head that something is triggering. In times of turmoil like this, one can often say that time is a flat circle, and that some events have a very eerie way of appearing every now and again. Same situation, the same incident occurring again and again. History sometimes repeats itself, and sometimes it doesn't even need a reason. But ultimately, the reason is because the people who allowed it to happen haven't learned from their mistakes. Now, that viral eviction was in fact the fourth one that I've been through.
Right.
Technically.
So he's saying, Sam is saying, well, that viral one that went viral, everybody knows about that one. But let's be clear, that wasn't the first eviction. That was actually like the fourth one. Now, Jag, she gets on here and claims that she's never been evicted. And sometimes she will say because it's the eviction, the lease wasn't in her name or for whatever reason. But as you can see, Sam is saying, no, that was like the fourth eviction. And Jag, whether your name was on a lease or not, if you were staying there, you were evicted. You also were responsible for, you said you were the caretaker of Mama Francis and you had Mama Francis' name on that lease. And since you were in charge of the finances and, you're responsible for paying that rent. Okay. Same with as Goomba.
Being through 3 evictions prior.
So yeah, Goomba and Mama Francis were on that lease.
To that one, when you were triggered, was it a triggering feeling of, oh my God, we gotta go, or was it a triggering feeling like, not again, or again? Which one was it?
It felt like deja vu. That I knew that I'd been through this before, and I contacted her the message immediately, posting the picture about it, asking her, what are we gonna do about this? She said it was fine. You don't need to stress about it. And you saw the result of that. Now, unfortunately, I'm unable to show that message to you because with the time frame that happened with my previous phone, the one that I had whilst I was with her, unfortunately broke, so I cannot get it up until I say get
you
prepared.
Are the receipt. We don't need a receipt. You stating where the receipt is and that you could give it if you. That's enough for us. So we trust me. I believe every word that is coming out of your mouth.
I'm glad to hear that. So yes, the moment was indeed very distressing. Now,
so Sam is saying that he no longer has the access to that picture that he took, but he's saying, look, that did happen. I actually took a picture of it. And then Sean is saying, look, we don't need that receipt right there. You are the receipt. We believe you. And yes, I do believe that what he's saying, that he took the picture of it, and everything else. We all saw, Jag and everybody being evicted. Everything is content for her, so it definitely was already posted online.
I did hear some remarks now and again, and I do remember this, that some people thought that it was being staged, and honestly, for as much as some people will say that hurts in regards to the situation, that in regards to the state that I was in by the time some people were peering in by, say, what, around 5:30 to 6 o'clock, I don't blame them, because with how very tumultuous and troubling my mother had been at that point, having spread my brother's ashes out in public, having caused another scenario here and there, calling the police on the one and only Goomba himself.
Yeah.
With all of that, I wouldn't blame people for believing that how I was reacting at the time, or at least how I was staged. But it was true. I was getting very tired for searching around for what felt like an hour, maybe even 2 hours, for those credentials on the outside.
So he obviously, he was reading some of the comments and responses. Sometimes when you're doing commentary on certain things and topics, you're wondering if certain people are reading comments and certain things. At that time, he was actually reading some of the comments. And to be honest, since he was around Jag at a certain point, Jag is YouTube 24/7. So even if somebody doesn't want to focus on YouTube, she's gonna make them focus on YouTube and possibly show them comments or talk about it excessively. So he actually acknowledges, and he understands that because Jag is so dramatic, and because she stages things and makes up stuff for content and over exaggerates and does things just for content, he wanted to be clear and make it clear that his reactions and his responses and how he was, how we saw him that day of the eviction was actually real. It was hot that day. His reactions and everything about it was real. He is nothing staged about it at all.
Mm-hmm.
And even though it was in the midst of winter still in Cedar Hill over in Dallas, it can still get pretty warm down there when the sun is out. So when the sun is directly out on you, and you say haven't been able to drink anything really fresh, for that matter, out of the sake of preservation for it for hours, and any potential food that could be eaten, that could have been eaten, having to be saved in a cold space lest the others go to spoil, outside of maybe a slight peckish hunger, dehydration led to me being very out of stamina, if you will, searching around, searching frantically to get these things out, because even myself at that point knew that if we didn't find this, we're going to be stuck out here in the middle of the night, sleeping on the grass or on the pavement.
Mm-hmm.
So he was looking for the purse because he talked about they needed, there was food and things like that, and it was hot that day. He felt dehydrated, like he needed something to drink. It was hot. He just felt like they needed the purse, because without the purse, how could they get anywhere, or they'll be stuck there overnight. It's just a mess. And the whole time Jag is just in the car going live. And then she was talking about how, to be honest, there's so many stories she has said about the purse, about hiding the purse, about somebody hiding the purse, or she has said so many stories about that purse.
And with people out there being, varied depending on their behavior towards my mother, especially considering the fact that not that long ago, since that happened, before rain broke out, there was in fact I believe a shooting that had happened, or something of kids getting very rowdy. No, not a shooting, but someone beating up a a father or an elderly person, I could have only imagined what horrors they would want to inflict, knowing that we are out in the open and basically up for the pickings, basically free throws to get pop shots on.
So you were worried about your mom's safety at that time, being evicted and being live, and knowing there's certain people on YouTube that really didn't like her?
Yes, I was worried. I was worried for her safety, and I was willing to push myself to the point of dehydration and exhaustion if it meant giving us a moving truck in order to leave.
So he was just really trying to hurry up and find the purse, because even though it was hot and he felt like he was about to faint and he needed something to drink and there was a lot going on, he pushed his he kept pushing himself past the point of exhaustion and feeling like he was just like completely depleted, because he was really trying to find that purse, because he felt like, oh, we need it for the movie truck. That's the only way. We got to get out of here. There are people that hunting my mother down and trying to find my mother. You know, Jag is always like having these persecutory delusions. Sometimes it's based on reality, sometimes it's based on delusions. But persecutory beliefs that people are after her, or she pretends that people are after her, and she tells her son and even Goomba, TJ, whoever she's with, that they have to move around, they have to keep on moving because people are after them. Now, I will say this. At some points, there was her having beef with the Beam Team. Sometimes the Beam Team will be like boots on the ground, and you know, they did have somebody come out there when she was being evicted from the Beam Team. Okay, we all remember that. But most of the time, Jag is not being followed or pursued, and she's just making it up. And in fact, she doesn't even feel like threatened like that, because she went to Texas and she was like, oh, I'm in Texas, I'm downtown, pull up. She was out there pretend twerking in the road, talking about pull up. Sometimes she will intentionally show her location to people, like, oh, I'm here, I'm there, and look at my background, you see where I'm at. Like, she will intentionally show her background, dox herself. So Jag definitely plays games. So sometimes she'll pretend like she's being chased, and then other times she'll act like she enjoys people guessing where she's at or trying to figure out where she's at. Or she'll go downtown and tell people to pull up, and tell her exact location.
And that's when you were looking for the pocketbook that she couldn't find? Okay, so you say you were really like out of it, but you were going to do everything in your power to find it so that you weren't on the pavement with your grandmother, basically.
Indeed. It isn't the first time that something of a psyche like that has happened. Most of the times, whenever we were met with a very empty refrigerator at times, I would often get to the point where I would put food aside and only go for maybe mere scraps of snacks if it meant that we could save that for a later date and conserve the food up to a point where we can buy groceries again. It's something that's happened.
Your mom would leave at times, and when she would leave, you and your grandmother, the food would be very scarce until she returned. So you would save food for later dates, so that when your mom pretty much just went wherever she was going, or leaving, that you could be able to feed you and your grandmother still.
Yes, that is correct. Now, granted, due to grandmom's psyche due to grandmom's cognitive integrity at the time, that was a bit harder to do, mainly because she basically did what I did at a more severe rate, and she'd almost never touched the food that she had once before. Mm-hmm. Which of course made things worse of finding the fresh things when some of the things in there went spoiled, and then you end up having to take a lot of the stuff out in order to clean the fridge and then put them back in.
Now here's the thing about it. Mama Francis had her pension, her late husband's pension, and then some Social Security, almost totaling up close to $6,000 a month. And Jag admitted that the rent or the stuff at the apartment was $2,000. So that leaves about $4,000 close to it. And on top of that, Goomba has his money between $1,600 and $1,700 right there. There's no way that anybody in that house should have been hungry. not based on that rent and the number or the amount of money or income. Nope, they should not have been hungry or evicted if things were budgeted and people were financially responsible. So with that being said, Jag, you created a lot of these issues, and that goes back to Mama Frances and her health. Nutrition is an important part of health. Nutrition is important. People have to have their proper nourishment, their proper vitamins, proper hydration, proper, vitamin supplements, medication, things like that to maintain their body. And poor upkeep of your body over a number of years can lead to poor health, and it can lead to other issues happening to you. And especially if every now and then Jag is going to get some fast food or something and she's nothing nutritious is happening. So it's just a mess. But yeah, to hear him say that there was food problems, that's an issue. And we all saw from time to time they would all go out to eat and they would try to show their plates of food. If you cannot afford groceries in the home, you don't need to be going out to eat like that and trying to flex for the internet, posting pictures online of y'all going out to eat all the time off the money. That's gonna spend the money up too fast. Okay. So Jag was definitely not spending the money correctly. And let's be honest here. If Jag wasn't even paying the rent, if they were not even paying the rent, that's even worse. That means that y'all had way more money at y'all disposal. If you don't pay the rent, you have more money in your pocket. So that means you should have more money for food. It does not make sense. Shout out to CCH. Thank you so much for the fan funding. Again, shout out to CCH for the fan funding. I appreciate the support. And everybody else, remember, support my channel for free just by what? Hitting that like button.
Yeah. And then there was times too where there was power outages and whatnot there, and when Texas had the big ice storm and you guys didn't have power.
Oh yeah, the ice storm. I wasn't around for the ice storm, thank goodness.
Yeah, your grandma was.
Yeah, unfortunately, poor Grandma Frances had to go through that, but I didn't. I was at least spared for it. Yeah. Thankfully, I was with my father on that. I was with my father in the Christmas of 2022. So
yeah. So she was there alone in the dark, pretty much.
Yeah, that's how the experience would be if I were able to see it.
Speaking of her, in times Grandma Frances had to, God rest her soul, had to struggle. Do you recall a time too where your grandmother was pushing a shopping cart home of groceries because she didn't have a vehicle?
Oh, yes.
What happened to your grandmother's vehicle, and why did your grandmother have to push your shopping cart home full of groceries?
Okay. Now, I'm going to equate a similar thing that happened around when we were in Cedar Hill to this particular event, so that you all could get in a bit of a headspace as to how severe things were. So, there was an instance. This was when Miss Legina Gold was around us in Cedar Hill at the time. The more recent incident.
And you like Legina, correct? You don't have a problem with Legina?
I don't have a particular problem with her at all. I see her as just a fellow person. She has her own problems, much like the rest of us. I can sympathize. I may not empathize because I do not know the particular circumstances, but I sympathize with her problems nonetheless, because pain is something that we all have to deal with, and it can really stick with us for a very long time, depending on what it is.
Yeah.
Back to that. Both me and my grandmother went to a supermarket in order to get groceries, and we had a good amount of money here there to do so. Now, my grandmother insisted on going on the trip, even though I, being the more cautious mind of reason, did not want her to go, because I had a good feeling that she was going to spend so much money that it's going to go way over the limit than we can afford. However, she insisted upon it. So I went into the supermarket just to at least confirm that we're not spending all too much. But what I feared did in fact happen. Ended up spending roughly, at least on the initial grab, the total amount got up to, I believe, I think it was $300 worth of groceries at the time. Even though the most I was willing to say spend was roughly around maybe a little over 100 or so. Unfortunately, I can't remember the exact amount that it went, but I do know that it's in roughly around that area. Part of me feels like it went up to 500, but I feel like that is obviously going to cost a lot for exaggeration. So 300 seems like the safe amount to me. So that was in that instance where I ended up having to call people. I had to making calls out to my Aunt Shell, making calls out to Genesis to try and help out, as well as cutting off all the things that we didn't need. Just goes to show you that back then, even when I was at the age of 20,
I would just say this, Jag is not responsible. She can't even take care of herself. Okay. She got dingleberries to crack her ass. She don't wash herself properly. She always is looking for the next person to take care of her. With that being said, that's why she told Sam Jr. to quit his job, quit school. She wants him to be a freeloader, just like she's a freeloader. All she does is hop on one person to the next to use each person for a place to stay, for food, for everything, for their check or whatever she can get from the person. It's just a mess, okay? Yeah. And thank God and thankfully, Sam Jr. decided not to follow in his mother's Fred Flintstone footsteps. He has decided that he wants to be independent, not dependent on other people. He wants to make a name for himself and, take care of himself and not live off of other people. He even said that he wants to, help his father out and not just like live off him. Jag, on the other hand, she doesn't care or mind living off of people. Even if they have hot cars like TJ, she does not care.
That I had at least enough wisdom in me to only get the things we need and to save the things we want for later when we have more money. So, why did I bring up that moment? Well, it's because there was an incident that happened prior where Grandma did the similar thing when her psyche wasn't all in order. But the situation was a lot more.
This is a situation that has not been discussed in the public before about a situation with your grandmother and Jaguar. But go ahead.
Yes, it hasn't.
Okay.
Now, I like to note that I'd like to thank, of course, my family members who've been able to clarify these details with me, because this perspective comes from them. It does not come directly from me, because I wasn't there to fully witness or understand what had happened at the time. This was around when I was still in my single-digit age, roughly around the age of 6 years old. And this incident was born from the then death of my mother's father, Norman Wright. Norman Wright was a great man. Formerly served in the U.S. Marines and was very well respected amidst our family. Got us a home in Berlin, New Jersey. And that was the one that I grew up in after I was born when I was very young. Well, when I'd stay around. Those were the times when I'd spend a lot of time with much of my family, between both my mother and my father, with my aunts and my uncles. And it was when our little small little tradition of racing competition was born too. Grandpa Norman died in I believe it was 2009, while I was still 6. His death really hit the family a lot. But that impact was most certainly felt by both my mother and my grandmother. Grandma Frances mentality sunk to a state that you would found in her later ages that you'd see more recently while she was still alive with my mom.
Mhm.
But what was going on with my mom at the time? Well, as accounted to me, after her father's death, my mom would leave the house and she wouldn't return for a couple of days. When I say a couple of days, I say between 2 to 3 days. And no one knew where she went. No one knew where she went. She took the van that the family used to drive around in. And she didn't answer her phone either. So no one knew where she went. And it got very bad that on one evening when we were low on groceries once again, and it was just me and my...
Jag, you gotta be ashamed of yourself. Keep on low on... I understand people having issues. Okay, so yeah, some people are having issues and everything else. Like, no, did she ever try to apply for food stamps if there's constantly having issues with food? I don't even know if they would have qualified based on the income and the total household income. But there is no reason they should have all these food issues. I do know that. Okay, a mess. So he keeps on mentioning food.
Brother Giovanni and Grandma Francis that were around. Grandma went to the groceries. Grandma got a cab and went driving on and went out to the supermarket to get groceries.
Mhm.
And she would end up getting so many groceries that she didn't have any money for a fare to take the cab back. And her saintly heart decided to take the grocery cart that had all the groceries in it and walk down, I believe it was Route 73, back home in order to get me and Giovanni some food. She was stopped midway by some officers at the time to see what was going on, and they were able to get her the rest of the way home.
So your mother, which I can understand, your grandfather, which was her father, Norman, passing away. I get everybody took it hard, but she pretty much would just take the family vehicle that your grandmother would have used to transport groceries back and forth and just disappeared and left you and your now deceased brother Giovanni, which God rest his soul as well, and would just leave you guys, pretty much abandon you with your grandmother, and she had no way to feed you guys. So she ended up taking a taxi to the grocery store, getting groceries, and was walking alongside of the highway with groceries to get the food back home to feed you and Giovanni. And police officers saw her in the process of pushing this cart alongside the highway and brought her home to you and Giovanni with the groceries.
Yes, that is correct.
Wow. That is a lot.
It is a lot to unpack. That much is for sure.
That is a lot to unpack. God rest that sweet woman's soul. Shout out to Goomba Head. Goomba Head said, great show. Shined everywhere. I will catch up later after work. He says, love you, Sam. Shout out to Goomba. I know that you love Goomba. You have no issue with Goomba. You always speak highly.
Certainly.
Shout out to Goomba.
I'm glad to see and hear that he's doing well these days.
Yeah. Me too. Shout out to Goomba. So yeah, because I wanted people to know that. And then also someone said in the chat, is Sam Jr. still in contact with his father? Absolutely. He sees his father every single day. And he is speaking with his grandmother on his father's side. They're doing just fine. Everything. Correct, Sam? I don't want to speak for you.
Yes,
here.
that is correct.
Okay, so I'm sure a lot of people remember that old video of, Sam Sr.'s mother, when Jack was recording Sam Jr. who was younger, and all that cussing stuff is going on. Yeah, so he's still speaking to Sam Jr. is still speaking to his auntie Lachelle. Also, of course, he's staying with his father, and he has a relationship with his grandmother on his father's side of the family. Again, for those that wanted to, that was an accident, by the way. But yeah, so I meant to click on this. This is actually Lord Sorrow is Samuel Odom II. That's his cash app. So again, Jag, you can no longer try to hustle or scam using your son. We all know his cash app. Any donations or support can always go straight to Sam Jr., who's 22 years old. No longer to anything Jag posts that goes into our own pockets. Okay, and Jag, what happened to that police arrest footage? You said you were going to post that once you got to a certain amount of money. Nothing has happened with that. And also, the money that you got in donations sent to Cruelty Free, even if it's just $40 or whatever you said, now that you know Sam's cash app, go ahead and send that money, even if it's $40 or whatever you got from that Cruelty Free, cash app it to Sam. Okay, because that belongs to him. You collected it for him, so send it to him.
So to move on from that, because that's heavy. You spoke to your mom during the time of your grandmother's homegoing, her funeral.
Mm-hmm.
What was said? Because she said online that you said that there was no ashes inside of the urn. We'll get to that. You said that it was just dirt inside of the urn. But before we get there, what did your mom say to you when you spoke to her on the homegoing of your grandmother?
Well, this was, I believe, a day after the homegoing, maybe. Forgive me for the date. I do not remember the exact date. So cannot give the exact date, but this was after the homegoing ceremony. Now, I believe all of you know of the 5 stages of grief: denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance.
Mm-hmm.
Denial is often met with a lot of refusal of what has happened. And at times it could be so bad that we want to reject that it ever happened. Now, one thing that I often considered I had been through for a good long while was that I was also going through my own road of depression, cycling through one of its stages.
Mm-hmm.
Depression was the stage that I was cycling through, though I thought I was suffering through bargaining and denial, cycling through them over and over again. Unfortunately, my mother has seemed to, at the time, and as far as I'm aware, up to this point now, cycling through the first stage and the second. She fervently believed, and she fervently believes, that her mother isn't dead. It is a denial that is as sorrowfully tragic as it is mind-numbingly baffling.
Absolutely. Sam is 22. I just keep going, Sam.
Oh, I see the time. Don't worry.
No, I say you're 22. They asked how old you were.
I'm 22. It is indeed a very tragic way to thought. And while some may find this a bit of a very tragic thing to probably go further into discuss, I will nonetheless. To describe to you, Mother, I did indeed see the small urn that contained my grandmother's ashes, with a picture of her on the front of it. But something to deconstruct my quote-unquote words. I never once opened the urn myself. So if you're saying that I saw inside and know whether or not I saw those ashes in there, I wouldn't have. So to state that I did see the ashes in the urn at all, or to see the dirt, is provably false. What's more, there is a bit of a detail that you seem to really assume that you know when really you don't, which is how she passed. You claim to think that she passed away, or say it was said that she passed away from some massive heart attack, when people can survive heart attacks.
Sure.
In fact, I have evidence of such, of one person whom I know had a heart attack and survived. And to say that that person surviving to this very day, to aid me in my growth until I'm able to stand on my own legs for as long as they have left, that is evidence of a blessing from God, one that I will never forget or dare desecrate. So if she had a heart attack like this person that I know deeply, why didn't she survive? Was it because of age? No. And that's because the cause of death wasn't a heart attack. It was cardiac arrest. When a person suffers this affliction, it means that their heart has stopped pumping blood, and blood vessels contain oxygen. Oxygen, which helps the cognitive functions of the brain be able to run. So if that were to stop, that means all oxygen has been cut off from the mind, and thus it begins to suffer, deteriorate, and wither. And with the death of one's cortex is the death of the person. I could still remember the vivid scene when as it was described to me from my aunt, who has been with Grandmom Frances in her last days. And forgive me for saying this, my aunt. I know that this will bring you pain to hear this again, should you hear this. But to my eyes, if my mother ever has any hope of breaking through her illusion, she must see what true clarity is. And that's what I shall be.
Wow.
My grandmother had that cardiac arrest. And the ambulance tried desperately to try to get her into the hospital. But before they could get oxygen pumping into her body again, she had gone, I believe she said, 15 minutes without oxygen in her mind. By the time she reached the hospital, her fate was sealed already. You can imagine the horror that my aunt must have felt at the time, at least a portion of it. And maybe you might feel some horror from this too, Mom. I'm sorry I have to inflict this pain upon you, but sometimes people need pain in order to truly understand the truth of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
This is a venomous, uncaring world. And for as much as we like to live in our own perception of reality, reality itself is often very cruel. And to stay in our own bubbles is to sacrifice our own well-being. I know this better than anyone in our family.
100%.
And thus I break it all to you.
Do you think that your mom, I want to make sure I ask this properly. Due to your grandmother passing away from cardiac arrest, there are things that can lead to that happening if a person isn't necessarily taking care of themselves properly.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think her being under the care and guise of your mother may have resulted in the cardiac arrest?
Cardiac arrest is not something that develops.
No,
It takes time. It's not something that develops instantaneously. It is, of course, something that takes a good amount of time in order to truly process. And unfortunately for my mother, a year's time is not enough time for it to develop. Meaning this affliction has been instilled in her for a good long while.
Now, the thing is, Jag is the one that was trying to blame Lachelle for Mama Francis passing away and saying that, it's your fault that she passed away. She was fine before she left. And Sam is saying, unfortunately for my mother, that can't be the case. This was something that was already in Grandma Francis, or already was, about like occurring within her before she actually left with Lachelle. So he's saying 1 year isn't long enough to cause this issue. And a lot of times that's true. It's years and years of things that have taken a toll on your body, from stress to nutrition, a lot of things that happen with your body as far as your health, and then that can lead to a heart attack and things like that. So with that being said, exercise, nutrition, things like that. And so he said that mother, stop blaming Lachelle for Mama Francis passing away, and that can't happen within a year. That means that stuff was happening to her before she went to elder abuse as well. She's the one before she actually went to Lachelle's house.
Her heart was growing fat from the very lack of care she had when it came to her appetite and her.
So there he goes. He's saying before Mama Francis went to Lachelle, she was already having things to her, poor nutrition, the appetite, poor nutrition and things like that.
Diet.
Mm-hmm.
Diet.
Though my mother had employed some means of being able to obfuscate this when it came to her diabetes, it did not help the major problem altogether, which was her growing heart. One of the first evidence and traces of this occurring were blood clots that had formed in, I believe it was, her legs. Grandma Francis shuffled around every now and then, shuffled around pretty much a lot when she'd move around a bit. And while this could be as a result of her old age, blood clots forming in her legs is pretty much evidence of that, stating that she couldn't move around her legs as well as any other person, especially at her age.
Mm-hmm.
But then there was also another thing that was found: a fluid blockage in her neck when roughly around when things worsened. And when that fluid blocks your neck, it begins to serve as a form of internal decapitation, thus limiting her own cognitive functions, steadily.
Okay, hold on, Sam. I'm gonna pause you right there. Now, all of these things that you're displaying that was going on with Mama Frances, the question that I was asking, it's no one's like literal fault that Mama Frances passed away. It's just life happens, you know, we have complications with the body and things in that nature. But your mother, she took Mama Frances and she had Mama Frances for years. While having Mama Frances, there was all type of things going on with her body that Mama Frances wasn't even aware of because the proper care wasn't being taken. So if Jaguar was going to take Mama Frances, which she did, then she should have made sure that she went to the hospital, that she went to her doctor's appointments, that she was properly taking her medications, that her diet and her food intake was better. That was her job, having Mama Frances. But she did none of those things. So my question was not if it was her fault, because no, it's not Jaguar's fault Frances passed away. But if Jaguar would have taken better care of her, a lot of those things could have been avoided and her life could have been prolonged longer, because the inevitable is the inevitable. Having an enlarged heart and things like that, your time is ticking. It just is what it is. But you can be comfortable and live a longer life if you are doing what you need to do to keep your body where it needs to be, to maintain your health. In my opinion, Mama Frances' health was not being maintained while she was with your mother, and she was with your mother for years. So that is what I'm saying. If Mama Frances was in somebody else's care, the blockage of her neck, the blood clots, and all of that stuff could have been being taken care of.
It could have been. Keyword could have.
Correct.
But the one person who was supposed to uptake that responsibility did not properly do so in the right places needed.
That is my question. That's why I said.
And yes, I definitely do agree, as I've stated before, that Jag was emotionally, psychologically, financially, I think I said psychologically abusive towards and very neglectful towards Mama Frances. All of that combined, and over the 4 years, you know, that's a lot on somebody. And then, with the poor nutrition, you know, not being properly medicated and things like that, you know. And then, don't forget stress. Stress is a number one killer, a silent killer. And I'm sure that was a lot of stress because Jag is very chaotic. She's always jagging out. There's always issues. It's very tumultuous and a lot of problems. Okay. So imagine living in a house with her. You know, there's always something going on. So dramatic. Okay.
I wanted to make sure I said it correctly because it can come off as a person saying like, oh, do you think it's your mom's fault that you're going? No, and that's a cruel question, but we have to be honest and real that if she had better care, Mama Frances could have been here longer.
Yeah, more longevity. So shout out to Jess Mona. Thank you so much for renewing your membership or joining the membership. Again, shout out to you. I appreciate it. And everybody else, remember, support my channel for free just by hitting that like button.
Yes. And I guess this might sound petty to add on, but turns out that in terms of the diabetes front, that wasn't being adequately helped either.
And how do you say?
My grandmother was on, I believe it's insulin, on the form of insulin. However, the quality of insulin that she was taking was helping her, to use the old saying, it was allowing her to survive, but not to thrive. While it did help, it did not help her in reversing the effects that diabetes can cause a person.
Did your mother tell your grandmother that the CMOS at the time that she was making and creating would help certain issues that she had medically?
Yes, she did, as an alternative.
So the alternative to insulin was the CMOS?
Yes. I see you taking...
And see, that's exactly of not being properly medicated. You cannot just switch out somebody's prescription for what you think will work, CMOS. And some people actually believe in, taking, other things besides like medications, but sea moss is not a replacement for her medication. Okay, yeah.
A very interesting step to try and help process things.
I'm trying to, Sam, because CMOS versus insulin. Did you ever say anything to your grandmother, like grandma, that CMOS isn't going to help?
To clarify,
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to use the excuse that I was young and naive. I legitimately had no idea what CMOS did. I basically taken my mother's word for it because I had no knowledge of what CMOS does on a medical level of sorts.
Mm-hmm. But you did hear verbatim that your mother would tell your grandmother that instead of insulin,
yes,
take the CMOS.
But you know, some people believe in holistic approaches, home remedies or things like that. Yeah. But yeah, so that wasn't smart to do. But nonetheless, again, poor nutrition, poor health, and poor things over a period of time can worsen somebody overall, the overall health.
Yes, and that development came towards the latter days in 2023 before we left the legacy of Cedar Hill.
Mm-hmm. Wow. Please hit the like, please hit the like, please hit the like. So
there's nothing wrong with people taking CMOS or using CMOS, but that wasn't a proper replacement for her medication. It wasn't.
Okay, I know this could be a lot. So you took Giovanni's ashes to your grandmother's homegoing, which I thought was so sweet.
Yes, I did.
And did you do it because you just wanted the sense of your brother to be there as well at the homecoming, or what was your thought process with that?
This was grandmother's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
And if I was going to go to that funeral and if dad was going to go to that funeral, I'm going to bring Giovanni too.
Oh,
all of us were going to go.
That is so sweet. For the people that don't know who Giovanni is Sam's deceased brother. Again, God rest Giovanni's soul.
Yes.
And also Jaguar Wright'S deceased son, her eldest son. And Sam is her second and last born, the one that we are speaking to right now. So his brother, Giovanni, was cremated as well. And those were the ashes that people saw from the viral video of Jaguar. Yeah.
Those were his ashes, indeed.
Correct.
Now, I guess small detail that's innocuous to all things considered. I'd like to state that he was half brother, not full brother.
Correct.
But I treat him as my brother nonetheless, full-blooded or no.
Mm-hmm.
And perhaps therein lies another crucial detail: that blood doesn't matter when it comes to connections.
It doesn't. It really does not. That was your brother. Yeah.
He came along,
protected you, and all of that stuff. So is that one of the reasons why you wanted to bring him as well, because he had always been your protector?
Yes, he was there to protect me in the times that my father couldn't.
Yeah. One of the last moments that you had with your brother, I do remember you were calling your mom the police on Giovanni because she didn't want him living with you or your grandmother, although it was your grandmother's apartment.
Oh yes, allow me to disseminate this. So, I believe everyone at this point knows some of the details that have led to my brother having to live a very hard road of a life. And he had just recently come back from jail. Those of you who know some.
Okay, so I did talk to Lachelle, so I was waiting to get to that part, but I might have to reschedule, but save the rest for part 2, because I do have some emails to send off and calls to make before it gets too late. Okay, and certain areas only have about 55 minutes to make calls. Okay, so I definitely need to get off here, but again, I did talk to Lachelle about the dog tags that were found in the ashes. So I will be adding to that part of the conversation once we get to it, most likely tomorrow. Okay. Yeah. So right now we're about an hour and 11 minutes in. So we're gonna pick back up tomorrow. Okay. I appreciate y'all for being here, and make sure y'all hit that like button on your way out.
Areas in inner cities, sometimes when desperate situations call for desperate measures in order to get money, one way of doing them is to, sell on drugs with other people. Unfortunately, this is something that he had to do because he couldn't find any other job that would be able to adequately pay him, nor find a job that would take him due to him having a record in juvenile hall, thanks to her.
Well, child, so we're going to pick up here tomorrow on the conversation about Giovanni and how it was hard for Giovanni to get a job. So that led to him, doing illegal things to get money. And that can happen a lot of times for people. So Sam definitely loves his brother and definitely felt really close to his brother. And that's why he has his brother's ashes, some of his brother's ashes. And he refuses to give the ashes to Jag because she desecrated the ashes. She threw away the ashes. She disrespected the ashes. And I'm happy that he has stood like 10 toes down in his statement. And the answer is no, Jag. I'm not giving you the remaining ashes of Giovanni. This is all that is left of Giovanni in tangible form. And it saddened me, horrified me, unbelievable how you disrespected him, his ashes, and how you treated him, not only, after he's no longer here, but even while he was alive, Sam is going to give us like information or details on how Jag treated Giovanni when he was still here. So I'm glad that he's keeping the ashes sacred and safe, and he understands the importance of that. And so Jag, don't ask him for the ashes again, okay? Don't ask him for the ashes again. He's the one that's going to be responsible, loving, nurturing, and caring, and making sure those ashes are in a safe place. He cares about his brother, unlike you. Okay? It's all about actions, not words. So somebody can say they care about somebody and they love somebody and they respect somebody, but it's their actions that will prove it. Because if you actually mean it, your actions will show love. It will show care. It will show concern. It will show all of those things. And if you don't mean it, it will show disrespect and hate and uncaring. And that's what you did what you did with his ashes. Okay, so no. Okay, with that being said, we're going to pick back up here tomorrow, and we will get into the dog tags and refining ashes and what Lachelle told me as far as her side of things, because y'all know I like to hear everybody's side, and pretty much is what Sam is saying in this interview, okay? I'm just going to add on a few more details as far as that goes to make sure that we have the information, okay? Anyways, enjoy the rest of y'all Friday, and yes, I will be joining y'all Saturday because I want to definitely make sure I do a part 2 for this. Hopefully we might finish tomorrow, I don't know. So for those that are interested in his coffee, I will post a link in the description box for those that missed the video. I definitely did subscribe to Sam's Coffee, and I'm looking forward to it. Also, I'm looking forward to, following his journey. I'm definitely your advocate for education. And I'm looking forward to him, returning to school. And, a lot of people meet like new people, like friends in college, and they enjoy the college experience. So I'm sure that will be a great, thing for him to actually go to college and people are actually cheering him on, not discouraging him or telling him to drop out, but people are pushing him to continue and pushing him to excel and be great and excellent in school, right? So he needs that. So even though his mother is not supportive, it's great that strangers are out there in the world that are going to be cheering him on and motivating him and supporting him in his journey to be independent and not be dependent on others. And you know what they say, sometimes it takes the community. Sometimes there are strangers or other people out there that are willing to step up to help out or support, or even just to clap or cheer on when other people are, discouraging you and not really celebrating your accomplishments. Now, let's be honest, a million strangers can never replace the love that you want from somebody in your family, because there's always going to be that one person or some people that you want love from, validation and support from, and acceptance from. And sometimes that is going to be a parent, but sometimes you just won't get that. So you have to take what you can get, and that's what's second best, which will be better than nothing. Okay. But at the end of the day, we still have to understand that people will still hope and wish that even the narcissistic parent will one day show some sort of love or acceptance or validation, or or good job, son, and actually mean it. But is that really in Jack, the monster mom? I don't know. But yeah, that's it for today, y'all. I will see y'all in the next live. And again, here is his Cash App for those that want to support. It's $ Lord Sorrow. Bye.
I gotta go. I gotta go. Don't ask me why. I gotta go. I should've left a long time ago. I don't even know how I got here, but I gotta go. Things have to change. I can't stay this way anymore. Change is a good thing for me. I'm tired.